Before diving into this incredible story, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell. Every story here has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The Millionaire in Waiter Costume. The truth behind the walls of the Grand Lexington Hotel. Jonathan Miller was 42 years old, but his gaze already bore the weight of several lives. The head of Miller Holdings. He managed an empire shaped by 3 generations. The jewel of this heritage? A luxury hotel chain renowned throughout the country, the Lexington Grand Hotels. Establishments with gleaming facades, marbled lobbies, and rooms costing thousands of dollars a night. The ultimate in refinement. But behind this colossal success lay a much more intimate story. Jonathan had never wanted to become a CEO. An only child, he had grown up under his father's immense shadow, Harold Miller, a hard, cold, and calculating man. Harold viewed emotions as weaknesses and employees as replaceable cogs in a machine. At the dinner table, discussions always revolved around profits, market share, or quarterly growth. Never about people. A good leader must not love. He must command. This is what Harold kept saying. But Jonathan silently rejected this model. He remembered the tired smiles of the concierges, the doormen, the chambermaids who greeted him with tender glances during his childhood in family hotels. They were the ones who had taught him warmth, true greatness, the one that is not seen in the balance sheets, but in human recognition. When Harold died of a massive heart attack, Jonathan took over the empire. He modernized, invested, and opened new subsidiaries. He introduced staff training and launched campaigns on service ethics. But he also trusted middle managers to implement his vision. And that's where the cracks appeared. For several months, worrying signals had been reaching him through indirect channels. A disgruntled customer who denounced a contemptuous attitude, a former employee claiming to have been dismissed without reason, anonymous messages evoking toxic behavior on all floors in the group's flagship hotel, the Grand Lexington de New York. Jonathan had sent inspectors and ordered reports. All of them said everything was fine. Too good, indeed, documents too smooth, answers too perfect. This only inspired suspicion in him. So he made a radical decision. See the truth with your own eyes. One evening, without warning anyone, he opened his closet and chose some simple, almost slovenly clothes. Worn jeans, stained sneakers, a polo shirt with no logo. He grew a light beard and cut his hair shorter. In the mirror, he no longer saw the CEO with the calculating gaze of the business newspapers. He saw an ordinary man, and that's all he wanted to be. Under the false name of John Carter, he got himself registered by a partner agency as temporary server on short-term contract at the Grand Lexington. A small, unimportant position for a modest salary in his own hotel. The first day was a shock. Not a surface shock, no. The hotel was still magnificent. The walls gleamed. Soft music floated in the air. But behind the scenes, it was another reality. There was Gregory Shaw, the current director. Elegant, smiling in public, but implacable in private. He spoke to his employees like lazy children. If you're not happy here, there are 1,000 others who want your job, he said in a low voice, his smile fixed. There were the sector managers, obsessed with performance, humiliating the weakest, covering up the mistakes of their superiors while punishing the smallest failings of waiters or cleaning staff. There was Maria Gonzalez, a Mexican housekeeper in her 50s, worn down by the years, who had worked at this hotel for 14 years and was treated with daily disdain. She was yelled at for a badly folded towel. She didn't speak English well enough, they said. She was not up to standard, people whispered. There was Kevin Sanders, 22, sociology student, working here to pay for his studies. Brilliant, motivated, but harassed for his clumsiness. A misplaced cup, a forgotten order. He was called the ball and chain in the kitchen. And then there was this detail that broke Jonathan's soul, insidious racism. One afternoon, a black man in a simple suit entered the restaurant. He waited. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. The waiters walked past him. They pretended not to notice him. Then a white couple entered, dressed in luxury brands. Within 2 minutes, they were served glasses of champagne. Jonathan watched everything, silently, nausea in the stomach. But that was not all. In the shadows of the corridors, Jonathan heard disturbing words: corrupt suppliers, embezzled bonuses, veiled threats against those who dared to speak out. The luxury varnish no longer hid anything. This hotel was sick. And the worst part is that his own name, Miller, continued to be brandished as a badge of prestige, while its heritage was being tarnished. It was then that he understood. He could not wait any longer. He had to act. Deeply. For good. One evening, the steady sound of water on steel and the discreet clinking of glasses in the kitchen offered an illusion of calm. Jonathan stood behind the sink, slowly cleaning the glasses. He loved these moments of silence, far from the hustle and bustle of the room. The warm water, the foam, the dim lighting, it helped him think. He was no longer CEO, no longer heir, no longer in charge of an empire. He was John Carter, a passing server, invisible like so many others. Suddenly, voices rose from the back room, behind a poorly insulated partition. Curious without meaning to be, he stopped. What he heard made his wet hands clench around the glass he was holding. "Don't worry," said a dry, confident voice that we're inflating the bills a little. "It's not like anyone's going to check." "What about staff bonuses?" replied a more nervous voice. "Forget it. I'll keep that for my entertainment expenses. Would you like a drink?" Gregory Shaw, no doubt about it. His casual, almost laughing tone chilled Jonathan. He spoke of fraud as one would speak of ordering a bottle of wine. And the other man, a purveyor of fine foods, nodded without flinching. They even laughed. "Seriously, Greg, you're not afraid of anything." "Well, as long as they see the gilded salons and famous clients, no one lifts a finger. Even the boss hasn't set foot here in years." Jonathan felt a wave of heat rise within him. Not shame, but cold rage. He put the glass down, his fingers trembling. The boss has never set foot here? He was there, just beyond the wall, hearing that his own name was being used as a cover for cynical corruption. But he held back. Hezwallow that anger, straightened his shoulders, and continued his work. For he had to know more. He had to see, listen, understand until the end. In the following days, Jonathan became even more attentive, not only to the gestures of the leaders, but especially to the silences, the tired faces, the shifty glances. He quietly approached those who were not being listened to. Maria Gonzalez, the housekeeper who was systematically ignored, was an enigma. She smiled sweetly at everyone, worked without ever complaining, and wiped away the dirt of luxury every morning. One day, as he helped her carry a stuck trolley down a corridor, she thanked him with a discreet word. He took the opportunity to ask her a simple, almost banal question. "How long have you worked here?" She looked at him with genuine astonishment. No one asked that kind of question. Then she replied, 14 years old, since my husband died. He was a laborer. Accident on a construction site. 3 children. I've had to work long hours. I sometimes work 6 days straight. Breaks, those are for other people." Jonathan looked down. He wanted to tell her she deserved better, that she was the backbone of this hotel. But he couldn't betray his role just yet. So he simply nodded respectfully. There was also Kevin, the young waiter mistreated by the chefs. One evening, after a long reception, Jonathan ran into him in the locker room. Kevin was sitting, his eyes red, his hands shaking, trying to call someone. The line hung up. Jonathan sat down next to him. "Bad day?" he asked softly. "Bad week," Kevin replied with a bitter smile. "That I slept in my car yesterday, that I'm trying to save for college. College isn't free. My mom does what she can, but I have no choice." Jonathan felt his heart sink. This boy, brilliant, polite, strong-willed, slept in his car while serving champagne to billionaires. And this was not an isolated case. Another employee, ignoble, a waitress for 5 years, once mentioned to her between 2 services that the hot water was often cut off in the staff residence. And when she complained, she was told that this isn't Versailles. Jonathan mentally noted everything. Every testimony, every humiliation, every complicit silence. In this world of luxury and gilding, little hands bled. And he, the man whose name adorned every facade, every embroidered tablecloth, every business card, had never known anything about it. Because everything had been done to hide the truth from him. Because he had perhaps, out of comfort or pride, looked the other way more than once. But those days were over. The moment of truth was approaching. On the 7th day, Jonathan had seen enough. The daily humiliations, the knowing silences, the dull stares of employees broken by a hypocritical system, the luxury displayed on the suffering of the invisible. That morning, he left the server room at dawn and quietly made his way to a phone booth in an alley adjacent to the hotel. He dialed a number he knew by heart. A familiar voice answered. Diane Russell, assistant at Miller Holdings. It's me, Jonathan. Set up an emergency meeting. Main lounge of the Grand Lexington. Tonight. I want all staff present. No exceptions. Understood. And, do you want me to notify the lawyers? Not yet. But invite discreetly Ellen Crawford, the journalist of the New York Herald. Make her think it's for a press release from the band. She deserves to hear what's going on here. 6:30 p.m. Grand Lexington Main Lounge. The space is sumptuous. Golden coffered ceiling, crystal chandeliers, walls covered in dark green velvet. But tonight, the atmosphere is strange. The entire staff is there, in discreet rows. Housekeepers, cooks, concierges, receptionists, waiters, night guards, all casting worried, questioning glances around them. Gregory Shaw, impeccable in his three-piece suit, sits in the center of the plush carpet as if directing a play. What is this charade? He asks mockingly. Are we having a crisis meeting about poorly ironed laundry? Then one of the waiters enters. Black uniform, cap screwed on his head, humble posture, John Carter. Gregory raises an eyebrow in exasperation. Why is this waiter here? Did he come to the wrong floor or something? The staff murmurs. Maria, at the back of the room, squints. Kevin frowns. Jonathan steps forward to the center. Slowly, silently, he takes off his cap, straightens his back. His eyes shine with a calm but relentless intensity. I'm Jonathan Miller, and this hotel is mine. Silence. A silence that lasts. That freezes the air. Maria drops the tray she was holding. Kevin's eyes widen. Gregory takes a step back, pale. Reporter Ellen, standing near the entrance, opens her notebook. She immediately realizes she's witnessing something much bigger than a press release. Jonathan doesn't raise his voice, but every word he speaks is a shock wave. For the past 7 days, I've watched. I've served. I've cleaned. I've listened. I saw employees humiliated for being a minute late. Young people forced to sleep in their cars. A cleaning lady, Maria, ignored and exploited despite 14 years of loyalty. I saw the sneaky racism, the unfair promotions, the veiled insults. And I heard, with my own ears, conversations of treason, fraud, embezzlement of money intended for salaries, security, your dignity. He takes a sheet of paper out of his pocket, unfolds it slowly. Here are the facts. And here are the names. Gregory Shaw, you embezzled funds, stole bonuses, threatened your subordinates. You were dismissed on the spot. Your access is cut off. And our lawyers are waiting for you at the exit. Gregory tries to speak, but no sound comes out. He's shaking. He's sweating. He desperately looks for support, but everyone avoids him, even his managers. Then Jonathan turns to the staff. He breathes slowly, as if to contain the emotion. I owe you an apology. To each and every one of you. To you, Kevin, whom no one has ever supported despite your courage. To you, Maria, who kept this hotel standing while you were being crushed. To all of you, invisible to the eyes of the powerful. From today, things change. He approaches, extends his hand toward Maria. She hesitates, then takes it. Tears roll down her cheeks. Kevin lowers his head, upset. We will rebuild this hotel. Not with gold, but with justice. You will be listened to, respected, protected. And, to start, every employee will receive exceptional bonus and one revised contract with salary increase. Staff housing will be renovated. And an anonymous reporting line will be set up, supervised by an independent external entity. Jonathan turns to Ellen, the reporter, and adds, Tonight, you'll publish what you saw here. Not a marketing ploy. An awakening. The whole room stands up. Applause. Tears. Laughter of relief. Maria squeezes Jonathan's hand. Kevin hugs him without even thinking. Gregory leaves the room, escorted by 2 internal security guards. His arrogant figure reduced to a whisper. The mask has fallen. The heart has spoken. And for the first time in years, the Grand Lexington Hotel had found what it missed most, his soul. A week later, the Grand Lexington Hotel is unrecognizable. The once silent corridors now bustle with heartfelt conversations. The looks are frank, the smiles genuine. The invisible weight of fear and indifference is gone, replaced by something new, dignity restored. The changes are concrete, visible, profound. Maria Gonzalez, the cleaning lady invisible for 14 years, is now head of personnel maintenance. She wears a gold badge, but above all a proud smile. She has an office, a team that listens to her, and a decent contract. She is entitled to paid leave, to a health insurance, at times humans. She goes home early, and her children, to the first time, wait for it without worrying. Kevin, the once exhausted young waiter and invisible, is now a symbol of hope for all young employees. Thanks to a scholarship personal gift from Jonathan, he can resume his law studies. He continues to work part-time at the hotel, but with a new energy. He knows that his future is in his hands, and that he is no longer alone. Linda Parker, a woman with few clients knew but that all employees respected, is named general manager of the hotel. Old housekeeper, she knows every floor, every name, every history. Humane, fair, she treats everyone equally, from diver to the concierge. His first decision? A little one-monthly lunch with all employees, without hierarchy, around from the same table. In each hotel of the Miller Group, an internal ethics committee is put in place. Composed of volunteer employees, it is responsible for ensure fairness, respect, and dignity within the framework of the work. Reports are sent directly to an independent department outside the chains of power locals. And Jonathan? He is no longer a CEO hiding behind Excel spreadsheets and remote decisions. He visits its incognito hotels regularly, not for to monitor, but to understand. He shakes hands. He listens. He eats with the teams. He speaks little, but he is present. One morning in the staff room, as he helps arrange the cups of coffee for a shared break, Kevin approaches him, tray in hand, looking amused. "Thank you, Mr. Miller. If you hadn't been wearing that waiter's uniform, none of this would have changed." Jonathan looks up at him, a soft smile playing on his lips. "It's not the uniform that makes a man, Kevin. It's what he does when no one's looking." They look at each other in silence. Then Jonathan returns to his service, picking up a napkin left on a chair. No grandiloquent speeches. No standing ovations. Just a simple gesture, but full of meaning. Because he now knows one essential thing. Real revolutions don't happen in the spotlight, but in the shadows of kitchens, in the laughter exchanged between two departments, in the recognition of those we ignored. And Jonathan Miller, the man in a suit turned field man, did not complete his mission. He walks away, humbly, to another hotel, another team, another truth to reveal. One service at a time. One look at a time. One heart at a time.